think we're on. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Blando here for September's Datamine. A couple things I wanted to get out of the way right away before I started. Everyone, I'm sure by now, has seen the other Datamine sheet that's been passed around. To be clear, it's not mine, but just so everyone knows, I don't know where it came from still. Christian didn't send it out on the stats bot on purpose to hurt me or anything like that. It was all just bad timing. And I don't really mind if somebody else is doing it as well. That doesn't really bother me. But the main thing I wanted to say was that if you're going to do it, at least be original. That's all I'm going to say, because the layout of it, and I'll pull it up here in just a second to show you, is nearly identical to the layout I've been using for some time. The armors, the rings, amulets, elements, even the way that the armors are lined up side by side. The only real difference was the background color, the font that was used in the text boxes, which are again pretty much identically located on the sheet, and the pets were over on the side instead of being kind of more toward the bottom. But again, other than that, pretty much identical layout, but that's beside the point. I don't mind if somebody else is doing it. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I just wanted to get that out there so that everyone knows it wasn't me, and I really don't have a problem with it other than just bad timing. And again, it wasn't Christian's intent to be hurtful or anything else. So, moving on. So, to start off with, like usual, we're going to start with the bosses. These were, of course, already covered in the sheet, but I'm going through them anyway. So this is what looks to be a new boss. I don't think that's been used prior. That one does look familiar, though. Yeah, that one has been used. That was the High-Blies Custodian, I believe, boss. Recolored, reskinned. Yeah, so that's the same basic-looking boss there, the High-Blies Custodian, so, or Custodia, whatever it was. But yeah, I think that other boss is new. And it looks like, based on just the color scheme, water and spirit on this one, water and blue. Water and spirit on this one, and probably water and air on that one, just based on the color schemes. So I'm going to go ahead and rename those really quick before I move on to the boss 2. Oops. And boss 1. There we go. Okay. So moving into the armors now. First up, we're going to have a reskin. This is the Steamwork Barrier reskin. I'll move this over to the right again like I normally do. That's water and fire this time instead of air and earth. So that's a complete element change. Usually the reskins in the past have had at least one element in common with the original. This one doesn't have any. So that's a different thing entirely on this one. So this is armor number 1. Water and fire, because it is water month. That's the male for that one. Next up, we have a new armor. This one is also water and fire, as you can see by the water swirl and the fire effects. So this is another water and fire. So armor number 2 is also water and fire. If I could type today would be helpful. Water, fire, and that one is also male. That's another new one. Well, not new, but it's a reskin combo, mix and match, if you will. That has the head of the Depth Storm, which was water and air, if I recall, and then the body of the Mistralian Sentinel. That was a fusion armor from a few months back. It was earth and air originally also. So this one does share at least the water aspect, but this is water and water. So it's a dual water. So this is most likely the fusion armor for the month. Water, water, that is the male, evolution 2. So the armor itself, the shield, the weapon, are all the Mistralian Sentinel in looks, but the head is the Depth Storm. So that's that one. And there's the female variant of the same armor. So that's, I'll just get that taken care of right now. There's a new one. That one is water and earth. As you can see here, we have the water swirl and we have the earth effects with that little diamond guy. That's a clear indicator I've mentioned in previous streams. That's a clear indicator of an earth armor. It's in every earth armor I've seen from Shadowforged up to now. Every Shadowforged I've seen that has earth in it has that little icon, that little particle effect, if you will. But it's just, that's the water swirl and then the earth effects. These are the guys that come off the shoulders, etc. So that's water and earth. Armor number 4, water, earth. That is also male. There's evolution 2. There is the, I believe that's water and fire number 1, but that is the female, a slightly narrower waist. So that's the female version of that guy there. Whoops. That guy there. That's evolution 2. 2 as well, but that's the female version. I've seen this in before, so the obvious indicator is that these little plumes of stuff that comes off of the top of the shield are on the Ascended version only. They don't come out on the previous versions, the base or the Evolution 1. So that's that one. There's the female of that Water and Earth we just looked at. So number 6 is the female. There's the male Evolution 1 of that very first armor. So as you can see here, there's nothing, little plume of smoke or fire coming out of the top of the shield on that one. There's also, if I recall correctly, on the original armor, I thought these little backpack-looking tanks, if you will, on the back had plumes coming out of them, but maybe they didn't. I could be remembering wrong. There's another new armor. That one is air and water, so water, air. That one is looks like to be the female, I think, based on the waist. The chest plate, there's a little bit of a bump there, but it's not that obvious. It's probably the female. I'm going to assume it's the female. So armor 5, water and air, Evolution 2. That is the High Blast Custodian reskin. So that one is water and spirit. I thought so. I did look at the other sheet, obviously, but I just wanted to be sure of the effects myself. So we have the water droplets, and then we have the swirl at the feet for the spirit component. So that's armor number 6, and that is water and spirit. That's one of the raid armors. That's male and Evolution 2. There is the female Evolution 1 of the very first one, that reskin of the Steamwork Barrier. One thing I also, before I forget, I was reminded of this earlier today, or was it yesterday? I don't recall. Anyway, some friends of mine said that I should bill for my services, which I don't think is really very practical. But I do have donations on Twitch. If you wanted to donate, by all means, go ahead. I mean, I'm not going to be expecting it, but I won't think less of you if you don't donate. So, you know, don't think that you have to by any means. But just wanted to mention that, throw that out there just in case anyone's interested. It's not something I'm going to be relying on. I do have a day job, so obviously I don't, you know, I mean, extra income, of course, is obviously nice, but it's not something I'm going to, you know, rely on as my primary source of income. Actually, that was water, air? Did I name that one wrong? Yes, I did. I named it. I did. I did a derp. So let me copy that really quick, because this is actually the male. I was right on that one, so this one is actually the male. Anyway, so moving on. That's the reskin, again, of the water and water. So that's the fusion armor. That's the male, Evolution 1. There is the female of that very first, oh, it keeps doing that, very second one here of the water and fires. This is the female version of that one, if I recall correctly. Just double check here. Yes, it is. Okay, good. Oops. Just making sure. Alright, this one is also water and spirit. That is the Celesticorn Bulwark, is the original armor name. So this is a reskin of that one. I kind of like the colors on that one a little better than the original, to be honest. Kind of like the glowing, kind of yellowy orange effects on the armor and on the weapon and helmet and everything. I kind of like it a little better than the original. Anyway, oops, I moved in the wrong window. So 14 is armor number 7. That's also water and spirit. That is Evolution 2 of the male. There's the female. That makes it easy. Alright. There's the male Evolution. That was the second one. This guy right here. It's Evolution 1. There's water and earth. That was this guy right here. Yes, but the Evolution 1. So that's the male. Yes. Evolution 1. Alright. There is the water and water female. That's the Evolution 1 of that one. And that's the female of the one I just looked at, that water and earth. This guy right here, it's the female of that one. I did move my microphone, by the way, so it's right here, directly in front of me, so I'm not kind of having to lean this way, because I used to have it over here on my desk. I moved it up here because I think it might make it sound a little bit cleaner. A little bit clearer, rather, not cleaner. Just as a try, why not? Hey Demon Hunter, how's it going? Thanks for following. That's, sorry, that's that female? I think that's female. That's the water and air. It's this one? Yeah. The waist on these ones, it's not always as obvious. Like I've said before in previous streams, it's not always as obvious with these ones because there's not really a clear breastplate difference on them between this one, for example, and that one. I mean, if you look at them, they look fairly similar, but the waist is just a little more narrow. And if you look at the arm also, let me scoot this over. If you look at the arm right here, there's a little bit of a gap between that elbow piece and the shoulder plate, the pauldron. This one's a little bit more narrow. It's not super obvious unless you're looking really close, but I'm pretty sure that's the female. So we're going to assume for now that's the female, and of course I will update that if I made a mistake. There's the female of number 2, this one right here. There we are. There is the second Water and Earth, that's a new one. That one is Water and Earth, I believe that's female. Let me look here. Yeah, that's female. Okay, so that one, again, it's not always as obvious. Sometimes you can see by the legs, sometimes you can see by the arms. This one looks really close right there on that elbow section, above from the elbow up to the shoulder section. It's a little bit shorter. It's one of the more clear indicators if the breastplate isn't as obvious. So that one right there, number 22, is the female. I'm going to assume, again, I will double check to be sure. Water and Earth, that is male, or excuse me, female. Evolution 2. So that one's done. Oops, how did that happen? That was 8, you doofy thing. Did it just copy and paste on me? It did. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump ahead to this one, which was the male version. I'm going to go ahead and rename that. Crap in a Shoe. Nice name. I like that. Okay, let's see here. High Blai's Custodian. There it is again. That's the Water and Spirit. Hey, D-Dog. That one? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. So that's number 26. I skipped a couple. I'll go back. That one's there. Okay, let me go back here just a little ways. So there's that one. There is the Celesticorn reskin. That's Water and Spirit. That's the second, if I recall. No, that's not it. Yeah, the second one. There we go. That's it right there. Okay. Alright, so that's the male Evolution 1. There we are. That's the, I believe that's also the female. That's Evolution 1 of that one. And for those who are brand new to watching this, this is what I do every time. So if you haven't seen it before, this is what I do. It's not that exciting, but it is what it is. Okay, that one is the male. So I think I was right on that one. I think that was the male. Because this one has more of a straight waist as opposed to being more kind of tapered on the waist there. So that one is the male, pretty sure. Okay, so that one's Water and Air. Water and Air. Was this one? Yes. Okay, so that one is the male. And that's Evolution 1. Perfect. Okay. And there's the male of the Water and Earth, but Evolution 1 instead. Getting there. That's a new one. Okay, so that's the last one, I believe, because I think there's 9 total this month. Because there's 2 war weekends, 2 raid weekends this next month in September. So 2 raids, 2 wars, 4 seasonals, fusion. So it's 9 armors. So that one, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the exclusive. It might not be, or no, sorry, not this one. The what do you call it? That guy right there. This is going to be the exclusive, I'm pretty sure. It's not likely they would use another reskin, which in this case would be this one. Even though I like the look of the armor in general, even with that color scheme, I don't think it's going to be that one. Don't take it as gospel, obviously. But, yeah, that's just what I think. Hey, Famous Rogue, thanks for following. That one is Water, Air. So that's the last of the combinations. So, like it is with most months, we have 2 of every element combination plus a duel. We do occasionally have 2 duels in the same month, but only if there's an additional war. When there's an additional raid, as we saw this month, we have 3 air fires, and then the fusion armor. So, but I think most people have already mentioned this in chats, as well as I've mentioned it myself. I'm pretty sure that they're going to change one of the elements of the raids, probably the air spirit to air water, because blue and purple being somewhat similar. I think if they're going to change it, that's probably what they're going to change. But I haven't heard any, clear yes or no from the Deca side, obviously, because they're not going to tell me that even if I asked, because it's not really something they're going to want to give away, I think, right off the bat. But if they do, it's most likely the air spirit, and most likely will be at the end of the month, the last raid of the month. It's possible they could throw it at us on the 17th, but I wouldn't bank on it. Anyway, moving on. So this is the new one. Let's move on to the next one. That is the male. Also, that is the base of the water and earth. This guy right here, if I recall. Yes, it is. That is the base of that one. So that's the base of the version when you first get the armor. There is the male Hybly's reskin, which was... Where's it at? Is it that one? Yeah, okay, just making sure. Actually, that's not the base, that's just evolution 1. There we go. Okay. There is the base of the water and fire, which is the one I'm thinking is likely going to be the exclusive. Okay, of course, can't guarantee it, but that's what I think it will be. There's the first water and earth. That is the male base. There's the male base of the very first one. That Steamwork Barrier reskin. There's the female of that last one. Female Evolution 2, or the Ascended version if you prefer. And there's that one. That's the female. That's the last of that one, other than the head, or the avatar, and the ring and amulet set. There's the male. Yeah, it looks to be the male of the water and air, which was this one here. That's the base of that guy, I believe. Again, I can always go back and check when I'm done. I'm pretty sure. That's the female of the Hybly's reskin, which was this guy right here. Yep. So that's the Evolution 1. There's the... Actually, no, I may have made a mistake. That looks like more like the male. Yep, I did make a mistake on that one. So the water and air right here. Real Evanio, welcome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did make a mistake on that one. That one's actually probably more likely to be the male, so I'm going to copy that one. That's actually the female. This one is the male. There we go. Much better. Or is it? Was it pronounced Evanio? Sorry, it's Evan, but I want to say Evanio, but it's probably Evanio something. Anyway, sorry, a little sidetracked. So that's the female of the Celesticorn reskin, which I believe was this one. Yep. Do that a lot. It's this one. Yes. Okay. So it's the female of that one. All right. Water and earth. That's the base of the female of this guy, if I recall correctly. Yes, it is. Okay. Just wanted to be sure. All right. There's the water and water. That is the male. Alrighty. There's the male of that one. That's Evolution 1. Oops. What are you doing, you dumb thing? Copy. Thank you. I think my keyboard's... I have a wireless keyboard. I think the batteries are starting to die on it because it's not as responsive as it was recently. Even just like a month ago, it's not as responsive. I think I just need to replace them just to be safe. Okay, there's the female, I believe. Yes. Female of the very first one, or the reskin of... Wait a minute. Did I rename the wrong one? I did. That's actually supposed to be that one. This is Armor 2. There we go. That makes more sense. Getting ahead of myself yet again. Because the this guy here was the first one. Whoops. This one was the first armor in the pack. So that's the one I just got that one off by 1. There's the female of this guy here. There's the male, which is the base of this last guy here. Number 9. There's the male base of the Celesticorn reskin. Commander Root, welcome. Alright, that one there. That's the base. There's the base of the female of the dual water. Right there. Alrighty. There's the female base of the last water and air. There's the female base of the Hybly's reskin, which was this one here? Yes, okay. Just making sure. there's the meal base of the same one. So we'll go to here, and reach for base, and I don't know why my computer keeps doing that. It keeps making these temp files in the middle of me trying to do something. Stop it. Okay, there's the other water and spirit. That's the Celesticorn reskin. Alright, there's the cape. That's kind of cool looking, actually. I kind of like that cape. In 1 second here. Get my window out of the way here. I'm on the wrong window. Not the window I wanted. Let me move you. Sorry. Good thing getting it out of the way now. There we go. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Kind of threw it in my way on accident. Meant to throw it in the other way. The other window. Alright. So there's the cape. It's water month, so that's going to be the water cape. So I'm going to go ahead and create a folder for that right now. Get that out of my way. So that's number 54. Cape. Move that into here. And there's usually a minimum of 2 other pictures in the file with the picture of the cape. I'm just going to jump through the heads here really quick and see if I can find it. Oh, there are pets there. There it is. So number 66. Usually there's at least 1. There's probably another somewhere. But let me go back now. Okay. So we're going to now go through the heads. I think we have all the other ones. There's all the water and fire, water, water. Hey, God King, welcome. Water and earth, water and air, water and spirit, water and spirit. Yeah, the 2 water and spirits are back to back, and the 2 waters and fires are back to back. Water and earth. Yeah, I did get all of them. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. So this is the High Blai's reskin, which is that one there. Yes, it is. Okay, so that's the head for that one, and presumably it's going to have the same ring and amulet. I didn't look that closely at the other sheet, but presumably it will. That's the new one. Again, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the elite, the exclusive for the month. Most likely, anyway. But it's entirely possible I could be wrong. They could use a reskin as the exclusive. They've done it before, so it's entirely possible they could do it again. That one I really don't know what to think of. The head looks a bit like an American football. Not European football, obviously, because that's what we Americans call soccer, but it looks like a football, kind of like the shape of a football, but made into a helmet. I don't know, whatever. That's the first water and earth, if I recall. Is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. But it does, it looks a bit like a football. I don't know, weird. Okay, so that's the armor number 4's head. If I could type today, it would be awesome. Okay, there's the Celesticorn reskin, which was, I think, 6. Nope, 7. Wrong one. Nope. I missed it again. There we go. Derp. It's another unicorn armor. Hooray! Somebody mentioned that in a chat I was in. They hated the unicorn looks, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't mind so much. I mean, after all, it is their game. They can kind of do what they want to with it. Whether they decide they want to have their art team put together brand new armors every month, or the occasional reskin here and there, or half and half. Really not my choice. Okay, so 60 through 62 are pets, and I'll move those in just a, I'll get those back to those in just a second, but I want to just get them out of my way for right now. Okay, there's water and earth number 2, if I recall. Yes, it is. Okay, so there's water and earth. That one's actually probably my favorite armor this month. Just in looks alone, and not even the fact that it's new. I just kind of like the look of it. I like the look of the head, you know, the spikes coming off of it, and the definite reddish and greenish colors to it that indicate water and earth. There's the reskin of the combo mix and match reskin of the Depth Storm and the Mistralian Sentinel. There's that one. There's another pet. Looks like a fish instead of like a frog. It's kind of odd. But again, whatever. Whoops. No, the doofy thing. What are you doing? Stop it. Apparently I clicked a little too fast. It made my computer angry. There we are. Okay. So there's the water and air, which I believe was this one. Yes. Okay. Just making sure again that we have it right. Okay. There's the other one. Again, it looks like a fish. It's like a guppy. Some kind of weird fish frog thing. Maybe it's supposed to be a tadpole. Who knows? I certainly don't. And I'm not going to be able to... I never really even bother with trying to assemble the pets, because truthfully there's so many pieces to them, the bosses and the pets, it's nigh impossible to get all that working out where it's supposed to be. So it definitely does look more like a fish, based on that. So let's see, 70. Oh, there's another cape right there. Let me get that one really quick out of the way. There was a second one. I thought there was. Okay, let's jump back to here. Okay, so that one. So we have 70 to 73 are pets. Again, get those out of my way. Okay, then we have, that's the Hybly's reskin, so that's going to be Water and Spirit number. Of course, I go for the wrong one again. That one right there. There we go. So that's the amulet for this guy. And I'm going to really quickly locate the ring, because it should be the same. It should be the same look as the other. A lot of these look familiar, so it's most likely going to be. Yep, there it is right there. 84 is the ring. That looks exactly the same as the original, of course, obviously without the color scheme change. Okay, there we are. So there is the Depth Storm reskin. That looks just like the amulet for that one. Let me see if the ring is the same. That might be it, I think. Looks like the Mistralian Sentinel ring, so it probably is. So let's go back here. So we have the 75 is the Water and Water, which I believe was 3. Yes, it was. Armor 3. Water amulet. And I'm going to assume for now, I will come back later, of course, and make sure. But I'm going to assume for now that that one right there, which is the Mistralian Sentinel in looks, I'm pretty sure that's the ring for it. I'll come back again and make sure. If I happen to notice one doesn't fit, I will come back. Okay, so we now have the Celesticorn Bulwark, which was number 7, because I've gone through that one like 3 times and I keep clicking the wrong one. Yes, it is, because it looks just like the head, more or less. That's the ring. And the next up is the amulet, which is the shield, more or less. Like it is almost all the time. There we are. There is number 1, which is the reskin of the Steamwork Barrier. That's the amulet for that one, and presumably the ring is going to be very similar to it like that. So 79 should be the ring. It's pretty much exactly the same other than the colors. That one is the Water and Air. It's the very last one. Amulet for that one. So it looks just like the shield again. That one I already got. That one I think goes with it as well. Yeah, it's got the same shoulder plate, same pauldron look to it. So that's the ring for that one as well. Simple enough. This month is actually turning out to be fairly easy. That one is a new one. That's one of the new armors. I will come back to that one. I don't know on that one yet. That one is the Water and Earth, which was, I think, this one. Yes, because it looks just like the head, more or less. Hey, baddie. There's that one. And that's the ring for number 8. That one is the Water and Fire. I believe that's the exclusive. I believe. Yeah, it looks just like the shield. So that one's the one I think is the exclusive. It might not be. I've been wrong. But that's what it looks like to me at this point. That one is the Water and Earth, I think, amulet. Yeah, it is. It's that funky shield. Looks just like it. Oops. Nope. Did I rename the wrong one? I think I did. Undo that again. I did. I renamed the wrong one. This is actually still supposed to be this one. I renamed the wrong one. This is actually supposed to be that one. So let me age 84, put that one back where it was. This one is actually that one right there. Okay. Duh. Okay, so Water and Earth is this one? Yes. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not screwing up again because I just renamed the wrong one. Okay, so this one here. No. No. Are you kidding me? There we go. That one. Okay. Brain cramp. Don't mind me, I'm just being retarded. Okay, okay, so that one I must have renamed the wrong one again. So this one is the Shield of the Water and Fire. I apparently didn't save the name of it. I must have just renamed it and put it back where it was. Because it's actually this one right here. It looks just like the shield. But I just apparently undid my renaming when I didn't need to do it. So that one right there is the amulet for that one. Okay. Got the right ones now. That one is Water and Earth as well. Looks just like this guy's shield again. Same thing. This one here is now the amulet for that one. That one I think goes with the same Water and Earth I was just looking at. I think it's this one right here. It's the ring. because it looks more or less just like the weapon and the shield. Kind of has that same shape to it. Yep, that is it. Okay, so that one there. Again, just to make sure. Number 4, yes. Okay. Sorry, my watch is going off, reminding me I have something I needed to do later tonight. Okay, there's the ring that goes with the water and fire. Again, I think that one's likely to be the exclusive. Yes, looks just like that guy right there. So I'm going to assume for now that it is. Assume for now that that is the correct ring. I mean, rather not that it's... Not that I have any way of guaranteeing it's going to be the exclusive, because I definitely don't. That is the water and air. Is this one? Yes, looks just like the shield again. So that one is number 91. Amulet. There we are. That's a crafting material. That's a crafting material. Okay, so then we have pets. So 94, 94, and 95. Apparently, I only got two little guys at the very end there for whatever reason, because there's usually 10. Oh, there is 10. Okay, I just forgot I moved the other ones earlier. Okay, so now we have the last one here. We have the last 3, which are the crafting materials. So that one right there. We're just missing the ring for one. It's not the water and air. Not the water and earth. Not the first water and spirit. Not the second water and spirit. Looks like it's the water and... Oh, it's that guy right there. Well, I suppose it does have those little talon-looking things on it, so that does kind of make sense. Yeah, it's got the same sort of talons on the shoulders. Like, right there's the talons there. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, so this is armor number 5. It is the ring for that puppy right there. Okay. And we are now on season 26, believe it or not. Material 1 and material 2. Now, based on how they normally do things, and again, I've been wrong on this in the past as well, that will most likely be the regular crafting material, and that will be the exclusive crafting material. Probably. Again, no way of guaranteeing it, but that's just what it looks like to me. Okay, now, let's get going on doing these armors up together, putting them all together, and getting them prepped. Edit. And while my paint.net is loading and taking its own sweet time, go ahead and get that loaded there. Sorry, I'm talking to people in the chat. Don't mind me. All right. And sorry, popping up a line picture here. All right. And thanks, Christian, by the way. I did see that post. I appreciate it. Okay, sorry. Just chatting in line really quick while I'm working here. Okay, so let's go to number 1. There. Number 3. And number 4. There we go. I want to kind of put them in order here. Let me get actually number 5 in here too. Might as well. Okay, you over there. Okay, number 1. This is the Steamwork Barrier reskin. And as I do with all of my armors, always start with the head, work my way down. And as I said, I like this armor in general, so even this reskin doesn't really bother me all that much. I mean, I'm kind of bummed that the armors are being reused in general at all anyway, but that's not a new thing, not like a recent development. Something I've been you know, kind of quote unquote bothered by for some time now. So it's not like it's a new thing. I've not really liked reskins for a while, but this one is actually one of my favorite armors in the game, period. Just because I like it's obviously very steampunk in looks, but it's not quite as overblown as some of the other ones, I guess. I mean, it definitely has these big gears on the head and the big, you know, tanks on the back with a big exhaust and this big fin that reminds me a lot of what's his bucket from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, that guy. I can't remember the guy's name. Michael Rooker is the actor's name, but I can't remember his name in the show. Sue me, I forgot his name. But yeah, it's kind of reminds me of his fin. I'm sure it's not intended to be that, but it kind of reminds me of it a little bit. And there is that armor, before I put anything else on it. Let's get the shield. Now, the one thing I don't like about this armor, and this is kind of being nitpicky, is that right there. It's right behind the head. I mean, in reality, if that thing really was spitting out flames, would you want to have it right next to your face? I don't know. That's just weird. It's on the original armor too. It's just that's the way the armor is, but I think it's still just kind of weird to have it right there in your face. Okay. Anyway, again, just me being nitpicky. It doesn't really serve any other purpose, but obviously the armor works just fine as is, and I do have the original on a few accounts, and I really enjoy it. I like the armor a lot. But anywho, moving on. There's that, and armor number 1 is now done. Ta-da! There we go. KnD. There we go. It just came to me. KnD. That's his name. There is number 1. So width-wise, about 270-ish. Should be about right. Can I get that centered in there? I'm going to save that. I'm in the wrong folder. I need to make a new folder. That's why. Okay. So this is armor number 1, which is water and fire. There we go. Oops, I just renamed that with a smaller case O, lowercase o. I'm going to fix that really quick right now before I forget, because that's going to bug me. Alright, back to here. Alright, so that's done. Number 2 is, again, I'm pretty sure, but have no way, obviously, of verifying. This one will likely be the exclusive. Alright. Just because it, the other one, as much as I like the armor, I don't think it's as likely that they're going to use it as the exclusive, just because they've done a couple of reskins. Like this month is a combo mix and match reskin, whatever you want to call it, because it has the head of the Ivory Drake / Titans, and then it has the body of the Egg Bearer's Aegis, so it's kind of a mix and match, which is basically the same thing that they did this month with the water and water armor, the dual water. It's basically another mix and match. It's got the head of the Deathstorm, like I've said like 5 times, and the body of the Mystralian Sentinel, body, weapon, and shield. So anyway, I will stop harping on about that because I've already said it like a dozen times or something already. Alright, there's that one. And where did the arm go? Right there. I kind of like the look of this one. I like water and fire armors kind of anyway, but I like this one because it kind of has these fuzzy fringes to everything, and it kind of has these runic sort of symbols to it. It looks very Celtic, or even maybe Viking, I suppose. Just looks cool to me. Anyway. Alright, there we go. And there's that armor, before I put anything else on it. Just click out of there. And the shield definitely has kind of a... Celtic is the only thing that really makes sense, terminology-wise. It probably isn't even remotely Celtic, but just the term that I can think of. It's runic, at least somewhat, and kind of has those knots, if you will, of kind of more Celtic stuff. There's that. Gotta blend those hands in sometimes, those wrists in, because they don't blend always very well. And number 2 is done. There's number 2. That's a wide guy. Very wide from side to side. Kind of up in there. Width-wise, yeah, that's pretty wide, 305. Most armors aren't that wide, and you can see just kind of about how tall this square is, that it's pretty wide. Most armors generally are fairly close to square, but there are ones that are very wide. Like the Decatron was by far the widest armor I have ever put together. And I think I've gone through, I would guess, probably 96% of the armors in the game. I've put them all together, primarily just because a lot of the wiki pictures were old or antiquated or were taken from screenshots in game. I wanted them just to be clean images of the armors by themselves, but that's just me being anal retentive. Anywho. Alright, there we go. Okay, now we move on to Mr. Reskin Mix and Match Man. Alright. Sorry, give me one quick second here. Chatting in the Twitch chat thingy. Okay. Yeah, this is the just by looking at the kind of the design of this as well as the weapon, it's very clearly the Mistralian. There's that. And we have the legs. And there's the arm. Alrighty. To be honest, hey awesome Smurf, welcome. I think I kind of like the look of this armor with that head a bit more than the original. Maybe just me. But I kind of like the look of it a little bit better. This is not, I don't think, exactly the same shield, though. It might be a little different. I may have to pull that up and look at it. But that's the shield of the Mistralian, at least mostly. In looks pretty similar. Alrighty. And we have the weapon. Massively humongous bladed thing here. It's huge! Look at the size of it. Sorry, Mike Myers. Many hours spent watching Mike Myers movies in my youth. I got to be very... Oops, nope, I keep clicking the wrong button, sorry. I got to be really good at making really terrible accents that were always, in some fashion at least, kind of resembled Mike Myers and his accents in like the movies like So I Married an Axe Murderer and Austin Powers. So my accents are rarely, if ever, very authentic. They're usually just bad versions of his. And I mean, his aren't bad necessarily. They're just the movies themselves are kind of goofy and dumb. But anyway, on an entirely separate note. Okay, there's that one. We are almost half done with the armors anyway, and then I've just got to assemble the sheet and I'm done for the night. Alrighty, here's Mr. Football Head. Rugby ball head, or whatever term you want to use. It looks like a football to me. Kind of like the tryptophan wing plate from season 5, I think it was. Had that head that looked like a football helmet from American football, and it looked like it had turkey wings coming out the back of the helmet, because it was around Thanksgiving time in the U.S., so kind of looked like a combination of a football helmet and Thanksgiving turkey. So anyway. Okay, there's that one. Put up just a little bit more. There we go. Kind of looks more like it lines up. Alrighty. And there is that one, mostly. Where's the arm? Up in the top right corner like it usually is. big old white spiky horny things coming, spiky horned things coming off of the arm there. There we go, that makes a bit more sense. So there's that one. That's kind of cool, I suppose. I just don't like the head, really. I mean, it looks too much like a football to me. Yeah, whatever. Could just be me. I have, you know, I am known to sometimes have a very unique opinion on these kinds of things because I've seen all the different iterations of armors that come out, and maybe I'm jaded. I think I've mentioned this in previous videos. It could be that I've just seen so many of them and I've done these for long enough now that it's just another armor. I've had other people say, well, you know, I mean, I don't really care what the armor looks like. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Gabe, if you happen to watch this. I just look at the stats. I mean, like the Geo monitor, the Earth and Air from last month, it was just goofy looking, but that was the exclusive, and it was the stats that really mattered ultimately in the end. So, whatever. It is what it is. The armor still does its job. It still, you know, has its attack and defense stats, and it's still strong armor all the way around, regardless of what it looks like. Okay, there's that one. All right, so now we have number 4. Pretty much done. 305, that's also a wide one. Got a lot of wide armors this month. Wide, not white. In case that isn't clear. Armor 4, water, earth, I believe. Before I move on, yes, okay, just making sure. Armor 4, water and earth. There we go. And water and air. This one's also another one I like a lot just because it has kind of these like white looking crystals coming out of the head, and these kind of talon-looking things coming off the shield and the shoulders and stuff. I like the look of it. It's just kind of a cool-looking armor, just in general. All right, there we are. It even has kind of these talons at the tips of the toes too. There it is. Where did that arm go? There it is. I'm just blind. Don't mind me. Okay. Whoops. Might help if I move the layer. There we go. Okay. There's that one. And we want this shield right here. Before I drop it on there. There's that armor. And the shield. Right there. And this kind of cool looking blade. It looks almost like it has kind of a scaled effect to it, like scales on the blade itself. Kind of cool. There we go. Get that blended in there. That one had an exceptionally large overlap. Okay. Normally the overlap isn't quite that much, but this time around it was. Okay. And the handle, hilt, whatever you want to call it. There's that one. Alright. This looks to be another wide one. Not as wide as some of the other ones I've just done, but still fairly wide. Never mind, it's about the same as some of the average. 265 is kind of roughly the average for most armors. 265, 275, somewhere in that range, or about the average for width and height pixel-wise. Alrighty, so there's number 5. I am more than halfway done with that part. Okay, so back to here. There we are. It's number 6, number 7, number 8, and number 9. Okay. So number 6, there's number 6, right there, number 9. Okay, good. Just putting them back in order. They were originally. Hello, Mr. Highblaze Reskin. I kind of like this armor also. I like both the original and this reskin. I like the armor just period, just because I kind of thought it looked cool. The head looks very kind of Davy Jones-ish. I'm sure most of you have seen Pirates of the Caribbean. It looks very Davy Jones-ish in the face, and on the shield also. Like Davy Jones is that Bill Nye, who does just such an awesome job in that role as Davy Jones. I like Bill Nye though, so it's not a new thing. Anyway, just the way he speaks when he's talking through that mask they have on his face, just the way that they kind of make him say his words, just kind of sounds cool to me. Okay, that's gonna go right about there. And the arm has kind of a shark head to it. I don't remember if the original one did or not. To be honest, it probably did, and I just forgot. I could look at the original armor, and it probably has the exact same shoulder. But I just forgot that it had that shark head, if it did in fact have that shark head. It probably did. And I'm just not remembering. Okay. Oh, hang on. There's the armor. And then we have the shield. I always like to show the armor before I put the shield and stuff on it, because it does very frequently block some of the effects, especially on the front-facing arm. As you can see here, there's kind of that shark head with kind of these frills coming off the back and then the teeth below, and just the colors and stuff. You don't see that frequently because the shield covers it, so I like to always kind of show those off so people can see them before I cover them up with the shield, which of course you'd normally have in-game anyway. You would normally see that. Okay, so there's that, and this is identical as far as I can tell, with the exception of that shoulder I'm not positive on. This looks to be identical to the original High Bly's in every way, other than colors, obviously. Okay, there's that one. This is also going to be a raid armor. This is the Water and Spirit one. As I said earlier, I believe this should be one of the two raid armors. And the other one, I believe, is the last one, the last Water and Air. That one should most likely be the other raid. Whether they change it or not, I couldn't say. As I said earlier, most likely if they're going to change one this month, it'll probably be the Air and Spirit to Air and Water, because at least they're similar in color. If they're changing one this month, it's most likely going to be the Water, and it's probably this one, to be honest. If they're going to change one, it might be this one. Because Water and Air is very clearly Water and Air. It's hard to to separate a blue and a white sort of colored armor from blue and reddish, orangish, fire colors. It's pretty obvious. This one still has some of the colors from the original armor to it, because it still has kind of those yellowish, reddish effects and stuff, orange, scattered throughout it. But the original armor was very red and blue, generally. Okay, so that one is 280-ish width-wise. Yep, looks good to me. It's armor 6, Water Spirit number 1. And here's Water Spirit number 2, the Celesticorn reskin. This one is also very clearly, based on the color scheme, blue and purple everywhere, with the occasional little accents of these kind of yellowy, golden, orangish colors kind of scattered throughout. Whoops, I don't want to put that one there. I want a new armor, or new sheet entirely. I don't want to make a layer in the existing one. Derp. Alright, there's that. But this one, again, just like the just did, at least as far as I can tell, is identical to the original, other than the color scheme, which is the classic definition of a reskin or a reuse or recolor, whatever term you prefer. I always use the term reskin, just because skins is a common terminology in games, where they just basically take the look of something and tweak it so that it looks the same but different. Like the color scheme is different, but it's the same basic thing. So reskin just seems to make the most sense. Alright, and there's the arm. Oops, layer. There we go. Getting ahead of myself, and I'm not moving my layers around like I should be. So there's that one. That's the Celesticorn reskin, with the very unicorny looking helmet, or shield, derp, and helmet, actually. There's that. Whoops. Ah, you stupid thing, knock it off. There we go. My keyboard, I think the battery is starting to die on it, because it's not responding And I mean, granted, I am just being a derp sometimes and I'm typing the wrong things in, but it's just not quite as responsive as it used to be. So I think I'm just going to replace the battery when I get done tonight, just to avoid that in the future from being a further issue than it already has been. Okay. The hilt, the last bit of the hilt of that weapon, the handle, whatever term you prefer. I use hilt just because it's familiar. Okay, there's that. There's the Celesticorn reskin. Done. And this one is also wide, but it's only because of that horn. The horn itself is what makes it wide. It's not really that wide otherwise. If it wasn't for that, it would be probably like 270-ish instead of 290. But yeah, it's not a huge difference, but it is bigger as a result. 7, Water Spirit. You gonna close? Thank you. Yeah, my keyboard's just not responding like it should. Hey RTG Canadian, welcome. And our second Water and Earth, this is, I think, truthfully my favorite armor this month. I really think this one is really my favorite. I mean, there's other ones I like too, but this one I think is my favorite. I just like the looks of it. It's kind of cool. I did mention that I think before as well, but I really do like the look of this one. It just looks cool. The kind of crown-looking head on it. The crown-looking shield. You know, I mean, just it looks good. I think it just looks good all the way around. It looks good. All right. And it has that nice little shaded effect. Makes it easier to lay the armor out. Make sure it looks right. Alright. And hey Thanatos. I think I know who you are. I've seen a couple people actually that I'm pretty sure I know who they are. But I just don't always mention it. I think I know who a lot of people. Oops, that's the wrong arm. What am I doing? I've been paying attention. Got the wrong arm. I've actually seen a few people join that I'm pretty sure I know who they are. I just didn't say it at the time. But I probably do know at least who some of you are. Can't guarantee I know all of you, obviously, because your names don't always match exactly with what you're using in-game. Or at least sometimes even close. Okay, there we go. Anyway, off track. There's the arm. I'm definitely gonna have to do some modification on this one because that wrist has that big bit that pokes out into here. I'm definitely gonna have to clean this one up a lot. There we go. That's better. And we are down to the last one now. As soon as I line this guy up here. Go. Again, I just like the look of that armor. I really like it. I think it looks cool. I like the color scheme. I like the weapon. I like the shield. I like the kind of crown helmet. Or the crown helm, rather. If I had to venture a guess, I'd say this is going to be a seasonal. But, again, I have no way of knowing that one way or the other. I just know that one of them is going to be seasonal and one of them won't be. Looks about right there. Number 8. Okay, there we are. And last but not least, our last Water and Air. This one, I'm thinking is probably also going to be a seasonal, but again, I have no way of knowing if that is in fact the case. Hey folks, welcome. We know who you are. Or at least I'm pretty sure. Alrighty. There's that one, mostly. Arm. I kind of like the look of this one too. I like that they've, just in recent months, they've released a few armors that are very kind of classical as far as knight armors are concerned. This one kind of has a classical knight look to it. I mean, obviously it's a bit more embellished than the average knight would have, but it looks like a standard sort of knight's plate mail. I kind of like how they're doing that occasionally. They did it for the Iron Crown Commander. It was a war armor from last month, from Earth month, so July. It looked like a regular knight's armor, so I kind of like the look of it just because it looked like a knight's armor. This one has a similar sort of feel to it. Looks like a regular knight's armor. And given that I'm a big fan of fantasy in general, I like that most of the time. Beer good. Alright, so there's that armor. Kind of cool, I like it. Shield is not too humongously overbearing. And the weapon looks like a sword. Granted, it has, you know, kind of this glowy bit to it, but it still looks like a sword, which is, you know, what a knight would actually use. Kind of cool. I like it. I've said that like 5 times now, but I think you get the point. I like it. Anyway. Don't mind me while I derp. Because I do it well, and I do it with pride. Okay. Anyway. Alright, there's that one. Ta-da! Okay. That one is also fairly wide. Yeah, pretty close, actually. 295. Okay, there's armor number 9. Water, air. And that's it, folks. That's the armors. Okay, and I wasn't meaning you particularly, folks. It's just a term. Don't mind me. Okay. Oh, well, good to know it's not close to your line name. I just read the Twitch chat. So, thanks for the notification. Okay, let me quickly bear with me for just a second here. I want to check my other screen here. 15 by 12. Okay, I just wanted to get a kind of a rough idea of how big I normally make these. Alright, so first things first, let's go to here. I'm going to draw my boxes at about the 350-ish mark. Right there, down to about the 700-ish mark. So I have my 2 lines. And I am going to disregard it on the right side because I'm putting the fusion armor by itself on the right, which I do frequently. When I have 9 armors, I do 4 and 4 and then 1 on the right, usually the fusion armor by itself. So in this case, the fusion armor is 3rd. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 4, 5 top, 6, 7, 8, 9 bottom, and then 3 on the right. So I'm going to put that there, but I am going to ignore it for the most part when I place the fusion armor. So just something to be aware of. Okay, now I can go back to here, and I'm going to take all the other stuff that I got in here, and I'm going to copy it into the folder like I normally do, where I put my... Oh, hang on a second. Oh, I didn't... Way to go, dumbass. That's a ring. I didn't put ring at the end of it. Okay, sorry. I'm derping. Don't mind me. So I'm going to move these all into the folder like I normally do, where I put all of my armor images I just made. So everything's in the same location. I will also copy the boss images and the cape and pets to the same location. Copy and paste. This should just take a second. There we go. Okay. Refresh. Okay, so we have the armor, or the amulet, excuse me, head, armor, ring. Amulet, head, armor, oops. How did I get that in there? Oops, I did not mean to move that. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't mean to move that one. I copied an extra one. Let's just actually cut. I moved one too many. Paste. Yeah, I'll just do that. That's fine. It's the same armor. Okay. Then we have ring. We have amulet, head, armor, ring, amulet, head, armor, ring, amulet, head, armor, ring, etc., etc. So now, I'm going to go back and grab my boss images really quick while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to copy them also into the same folder. just to make things easier. Okay, there we are. So now I can go ahead and start constructing this puppy. So first things first, let's get our armors placed on here. Go back to here. That should be over the top. It is not. I do that like practically every time. Okay, that's actually how I wanted it originally. I do want it behind it. Okay, there we go. This is going to go right over the top of it. So there's number 1. And number 2. So if I can get that butted up against there as close as possible, so it's not right on top of it, but very close to it. There's the, actually I'm going to come back to that one. I'm going to do that one yet. 4. I don't want it overlapping it, but I want it close. There we are. 5, as I said, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5. Get that up there as close as I can without overlapping. There we are. Actually, I could even just move that over just a hair more. There we go. Okay, and number 6, which is going to go on my second row down. For some reason, I'm remembering that the Hive-Wise Custodian, the original armor this is based on, was also on the second row and was also the first armor. For some reason, it's just coming into my head. That's exactly where the last one was. So very odd, but whatever. Let's see here. Let's put that one over. Actually, I can leave that one pretty much right where it is. Right about there should be good. I don't want them to be spaced out too much, but I also don't want them overlapping each other. The 2 long armors right below each other, that works out well. 2 of the longer armors, I should say. And this one's also a longer one, so that's fine. Works out well. Okay, and last but not least, number 3. Just going to go, whoops, nope, not that one. Armor. There we go. And this one's going to go all by itself right there. Right about in the center. There we go. And I'm using the center as basically the center of the picture itself, not necessarily the center of that entire area, but just kind of roughly in the center of that. Okay, now we get to do the amulets, rings, and all that other good stuff. Zoom in a bit here. Amulet. Ring. Whoop. No, nope, don't do that now. Ring. Yep. Copy. Thank you. And paste right about there, and right about there. I'm going to go ahead and throw these guys down here since I already have it. Then right about, oops, no, don't do that, you doof. There we go. I moved my layers on accident. Rearranging all my stuff on me. I normally create another layer for the rings and amulets, but I don't really need to every single time. Like, in other words, a separate layer entirely for the rings and amulets besides the armors, but I don't need to really do it every time. Okay. There's that one. Now I can go on to row number 2. Alright. I know this is absolutely riveting to watch. There really isn't. I know it's probably kind of boring, but this is how I've been doing it for many, many months. And it comes out pretty much the same every time. The layout of it, everything's kind of, again, pretty consistent every time. Okay, now I go into my other folder here where I have my elements, and I'm going to start making the elements here. So let's move this over here. So first of all, water. I'll leave a little bit of a gap there for the fire. Again, got to leave a little bit of a gap there for the fire. The air is the biggest of the element images by far, so I have to make sure I have enough room to put that one down there. Since this is dual water, I can butt this right up against the feet, because I can put another one right next to it, like so. Okay, now down to here we have the water and spirits that are next to each other. Spirits also fairly wide, so I'll leave that one a little bit of a gap. Whoops! Whoa! Slow down there, Turbo. That one's also pretty wide, so I give those a little bit more of a gap. There's the other water and earth. That one's fairly, the icon itself is fairly small, so I shouldn't need to do much about that one. And the earth, again, I got to give that one a bit of a gap. I can always move them, of course, but I just like to have them already kind of where I need them without having to go too crazy on it. Oops. Copied it into the same folder I had it in. Derp. Okay. Here. Spirit. Right. Oops. Right about there. And then right about there. One more over. Okay, now we have fire. Fire and fire. Both of those guys are now done. Now I have the earth guys. So I have Mr. Earth guy right here. And Mr. Earth guy right here. And last but not least, we have the air. So that can be last two. This guy and the one directly above it. For whatever reason, they ended up being right next to each other. All right. And there's that. Okay. Now it's time to start putting the rest of the sheet together. Let's make another layer. This one we're going to put. Let's see here. Actually, let me check something before I move into that. I wonder if I move this, if it's going to go over the top. It does. Perfect. Okay, that's what I wanted. I just want to make sure I'd gotten that right. Okay. So now we're going to use this layer here for all our text boxes and all the rest of the stuff. So, here we go. We're in the final stretch. So we're going to need a rectangle here. It's going to be about there. Oh, I forgot I still got something highlighted. Okay, go grab my favorite font, which is that guy right there. Actually, I need to bump that up to 26, I think. Actually, the size I normally use. And I may actually make that a little bit smaller. Made that a little bit too wide. About like that. Then I will move it to zoom out here. Right about there. Okay, back to here. Grab my materials. Material number 1. And material number 2. About like that. Okay. Alrighty, now let's do pets. Gotta get these sorted though, I haven't even looked through them yet. Okay, so that one, oh, that's pretty simple actually, they're in order. So this one is tier 5. Next up is tier 4. Next up is tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1. I don't really necessarily have to rename them, I just like to so that I know I'm not screwing it up later. Okay. Copy. me make sure I get the alignment on these right. Because as I've said in previous streams, for some reason I can never quite get this exactly the way I want it. Whoa, what are you doing? Stop that. If I don't get it exactly the way I want it, I'll redo it over and over again. Then as soon as I say that, like literally as soon as I say that, I'm like, I can never get this right. Boo-hoo. I can never get this right. Oh, poor picked on me. I lay it out perfectly. Every single time. I don't know why that is. But for whatever reason, whenever I bitch about it, it just comes out perfectly. Like that. I don't know why. It just, for whatever reason. Okay, let's just move these a titch up. I'm going to have to kind of be really careful on this top edge. Okay. I'm going to move them up just ever so slightly. There we go. Alright, now we're going to need another box. Right about here. That should work nicely for that. Now we're going to put the bosses right here where I normally put them. Boss number 1. Going to go right about here. And I got to make sure I have enough room above it, of course, for my text outlining which one's which. Or rather, which armor goes to which. And if you look, actually, it's fairly straightforward. It's not really that complex. But if you look at that head and look at that head, it's a pretty clear indicator. If you look at that head and look at that head right there, they are pretty similar. It has the same sort of jetting bits on the top there, same kind of color scheme. Yeah. So those are the 2 raid armors. This guy here, water and air at the top, and water and spirit on the bottom. But I will put the text on that, of course, once I get to that point. So now, let's get water. Put one here, like about like so, and another like about like so. We're going to do spirit, which is going to be this guy right here, and air, which is this guy right here. Whoa, slow down. There we go. Okay, there's that. Now we got our cape, which is this doofy-doo right here, which, I mean, really, it's not that bad. It's just not my thing. Not really my cup of tea, but whatever. Alright, and text boxes for the bosses be about right here. And the cape right about here. And of course I can move this if I ever see fit to do so. It's a good thing I can talk, you know, it's a good thing you can understand what I'm actually saying. Because that might be important. Honestly, it really isn't, but you know, whatever. Okay, there we go. Make sure this is somewhat centered, about like so. That cape looks a little bit off, but not much. I may just move it just a hair to the side. There we go. Good to go. Alright, now, make sure I got everything here. So I got I got the pets, armors, rings, bosses, materials, cape. Yep, I think I got it all. Okay, so I'm going to move this like I have before. I'm going to move it up. And actually, well, let me move it over to the right just a little bit. I don't even need to have it down there. Because I'm going to shorten this up. Okay, let's do this. Let me save this really quick. Move that out of the way. To my normal folder where I usually save them. There it is. Okay. So there's the sheet, more or less. I'm going to move this, actually. I'm going to move the armor over here a little bit closer to the other ones, because it's a little bit far off for my taste. I'll move the elements in just a second. It's in here. Oops. Hit the wrong key on my keyboard. There we go. That looks a little better. So I can shorten this up. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Okay, let's shorten this up, 1450, and shorten this up on the bottom to about 1125. Much better. Okay, that's a little bit more along the lines of what I'd like to see. Okay, and I am now going to go to the background just as a test. Exactly what I thought was going to happen. Back. Perfect. Okay, undo, undo, undo. We're going to save that one final time before I start filling stuff in. There we are. Now I get my text, my color palette, my usual color, centered. So this is second row, first armor, like so. It's actually a bit farther to the side. There we go. This is first row, fourth armor. Okay. Now I'm going to change it to my red color that I like to use, right aligned. I will move that, of course. Actually, I'm not even sure if I have the that part right there. I'll just leave that alone. I don't need that. Okay. And move you right about there. That's basically it. Let me save that really quick before I do anything else. So now I can go back up to here, close. I'm now going to save it as the final product. Like so. Okay. So close that. And now I'm going to open up mine. There it is. There's the final copy. And just for reference, there's the other one. So that's mine. That's the other one. Granted, the armors aren't in the same orders, but you'll notice the layout. I mean, I can't say it's just... Sorry, I love that. I forgot I had that in that folder. Anyway, sorry. I wanted to point that out because the format, the layout, other than these elements are a bit larger of an image size than I normally use. Oh, sorry, that's Legions. Bit larger than I normally use. Mine are a bit smaller. But you can see the layout. Like, say, for example, this guy. The ring and amulets are swapped. That's really the only difference between them. The layout, though, otherwise, is pretty much the same. So, sorry, I keep going back to Legions. That was Legions from last month. That's basically it, though. We're basically done. So this was actually quite a bit faster than the norm. I kind of went through it a bit quicker than I have in the past, just because I wanted to get it done. But anyway, I'm going to stop the stream here shortly to send out the actual sheet itself here momentarily. But if anyone has any questions, of course, hit me up online. My line ID is right there, as I said, in the Datamine right there. Right down here at the bottom, that's my line ID. My Twitch channel is the same. If you're watching, you already know this. But this is the upcoming month of September. So if anyone has any questions or whatever else beyond that, holler at me. Thanks, everyone, and have a good rest of your week.